Hello, I'm retired Battalion Chief Larry Cockman from the Greensboro, North Carolina Fire Department History Book Committee. We're here today at the Greensboro Historical Museum. I'm standing in front of the General Greene, the first steam pumper, or as they called it back then, the steamer. Today, December 9th, 2019, we are starting a new tradition of recording and preserving the heritage and culture of our retirees. Our retirees have contributed so much to the success of our great fire department. Their stories retire with them and are sometimes gone forever when they pass away. They will share their emergency calls that will always be a part of their memories forever. So sit back and listen as they carry us through their journey in the Greensboro Fire Department.
Philip Blue, 58 years old. I was a captain when I retired. I had 30 and a half years of service. Grew up in Latham Park. Grandfather was the chief of the Southern Pines Fire Department. And my other grandfather was the mayor at the same time. So yes, that did have a factor in me wanting to be in the fire service. I was single working at a company called R.W. McCollum. I had been welded on gasoline transport trailers, and I thought I'd rather have something a little safer than that. So I went to the fire service. The process for me being hired, of course, you filled out your application, and then there was background checks were done. I remember my mom telling me that Howard O'Farrell had come to the house and spoke with her. He went to my place of employment and spoke with my bosses, and after that, I just interviewed with, gosh, that was a scary day. Chief Kent and Jack Coe. We started, and my training class started with 16. We lost 4 during the training, and then we lost 2 more to our firefighter 1 test. So 10 of us finished. Gary Wilson, Fred Birchfield, Mike Meadows, firefighter Keith Ingold. There's Reggie Tate, we lost at firefighter 1 test. Adrian Bullard, we lost at firefighter 1 test. The legendary Frank Crow, Johnny Davis, Herb Gibson. Folks I remember from my training class.
Okay.
During my training, I remember a few things very vividly. We were in the smoke lab doing fire extinguisher training, and everybody had gone through using just an ABC extinguisher. It was my turn, and I didn't know it, but I had a halon extinguisher. I jumped up and I hit it, and that fire went out so quickly. They thought I was the man. Chief Cox called me a firefighting MF after that. So. I remember the good cop and bad cop of our training officers. Chief Cox would scream and yell at us, and then Paul Brooks was mother hen. He would come in and stroke everybody, try to make us feel better. Once I got into training, I saw how there was already a camaraderie just with our training class. And of course I had pride with the job, and I did think I was doing something special. My first station assignment was at Station 10. I was assigned to Truck 2. I had a brand new captain, Wayne Weatherman. And you never forget that. I remember everybody I was assigned with. Marvin Fanning and Potsy Hervey was on the ladder truck with me. And then there was Richard Cates was the captain on the engine. Vernon Smith had just made driver. And there was Mike Smith and Charlie Thompson.
Wow.
Only nickname I ever had was Bluebird. There were some pranks. I walked into the kitchen at Station 10 one night, and Glenn Johnson was sitting at the table with a great big silver bowl, and he had a box of cereal. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm picking the raisins out of Toller's cereal." And he picked all the raisins out of Toller's Raisin Bran and crossed out raisins on the box and just wrote brand. And then there was another guy that he didn't ever buy shampoo. He just used whatever was left in the shower. So they put honey in the shampoo bottle. So he ended up with honey all over his hair, which was not easy to get out. Then the Jolly Ranchers and the shower heads was always a good one.
Tell you.
Well, it would take it a while to start melting, so people would cut the shower head on, get the water warm, and then the candy would start melting, so they get the shower and then get a little purple on their hair or something. Yeah, our crew cooked, and when I was first assigned to Station 10, of course, the grocery store was right across the street. So being a rookie, I had lots of trips to the grocery store daily. I learned to cook from Charlie Thompson. He was he just wanted to cook. He was the assigned cook, so I'd ride calls for him, and he could stay and cook. My favorite dish to cook was chicken pie, and I did it all from scratch. I didn't use the veg oil like some of these rookies have used in the past. I would buy whole chickens. Now you can get the rotisserie birds. I get the whole chickens and boil them down and then take them apart by hand. Wow. It was it took a little bit, but you had to show some love. Yeah. I think cooking and eating together helps build the camaraderie. I'm afraid it's kind of going to the wayside now with the newer generations. Well, I can see good points on both. I think the cubicles make for easier studying for the younger folks, and with the female firefighters, with the cubicle, they're in the same room with the guys. And when I was at 10, they made a room for females, so females come in and they've got their own private bathroom, their own bedroom, so there was a little resentment for that, so when we put everybody together. And the dormitory, again, it was fun at night. You mess with somebody. A lot of things flying through there at night. Firehouse when you got somebody that snores. I was stationed at 11 with Frank Fortune and Jerry Branson. And Frank would sleep on his back with his knees up and pull the curtains. He could really go. You throw a magazine at him and scare him, and you get to laughing, and he'll beat you back to sleep. So, absolutely, I think firefighters are in better shape and they're more health conscious. But I think our safety officers have done a great job, with cancer prevention and the acknowledgement of cancer. And now everybody is a lot more focused on their health. When a retiree visits a fire station, these firefighters need to look at them as a wealth of knowledge. They can learn a lot from these guys, and I've only been gone 5 years, and I can walk into stations and not recognize anybody. Yes, sir. I remember my first fire I had was the first day I ever drove, which was the day I took my firefighter 1 test and passed it. I was driving the ladder truck, and I remember my foot was just trembling, and the only way I could keep it from trembling was push it down and it's on the throttle. So I gave my captain a hell ride. So, but that was a fire in a laundromat. But when I came on, the department had the 3 squads, so everybody didn't ride the medical calls. I was at Station 10, so a lot of times the battalion chief would dispatch us on medical calls also. So I remember the first call I remember riding a medical call, a man was hit by a fence, but a car hit the fence, knocked it into the van.
Oh, wow.
That was also my first CPR.
Okay.
Some of the major incidents I were on actually seemed to be on holidays, things that really stuck in my mind. Like there was a house fire. I was a captain on Engine 11. House fire on Thanksgiving morning. We pulled out of the station and crossed over the highway on Patton Avenue, and it looked like a big 7 in the sky from the plume of smoke. Mm-hmm. And so I had to do incident report and 7 exposure reports on that one call. I went on a wreck on Halloween with Marty Siemens on the squad. 18-wheeler lost a wheel and tire, and it hit a Ford Escort right in the windshield, and the master driver's head like a grape. That's one you'll never forget because he had a hole in his forehead a squirrel could run in and out of. Yeah. And then I had a man commit suicide on Valentine's Day with a little bitty penknife, cut his throat with a pocket knife. And his parents found him. Wow. And that's another one that will stick with me forever. Now, I was in training during the big fire downtown because we had tested a bunch of hose, and actually some of us showed up downtown. And a bunch of that hose was burned up. But the first big fire I was on was at the corner of Oakland Avenue and Holden Road. There's a vacant lot there now.
Mm-hmm.
There had been a flea market.
Okay.
That was the first surrounding drown I was on.
Mm-hmm.
The Lane's Laundry fire.
Mm-hmm.
Buddy Lamar got lost on that one. A door fell on me. I was on the line by myself, and the floor was so slick in there. If I got out of O.C. Johnson's sight, he'd just pull me back with the hose. But that's the first time I ever saw Woody Parrish. And he was standing up. I was on the floor. He was standing up. That man looked like he was 9 feet tall. The squad guys found him. I remember his last radio traffic was, "Kimmel, I'm out of air." And he was beaten on a wall, and Chris Herman found him and got him out. Lane's Laundry on Market Street.
Okay, good.
Of course, it's instilled more pride. It's heartbreaking to see 343 of your colleagues get killed in one incident, and they're still dying from that. But the public looked up to us, for about 10 days. It was right back to the damn no firemen. But it's just, I don't know, it's just heartbreaking to me. I think it opened up some eyes,
Okay.
which, that helped us, get equipment and get, politicians saw the importance of us. As Chief Kerry Hensley, I had him as a captain. Every call we rode, day or night, he would ask us if we knew where we're going, and he would back us back in day or night and ask us if we were okay. And I had, I worked with Dean Peden. He was a wealth of knowledge. I was on the squad with him, and he had a way of lightening the mood. Going on a bad call, it's going to be bad. He had a knack of saying something funny, so it kind of ease up your thinking before you got there. I was on the squad for 4 years. Each time I got promoted was a challenge. I made driver. I'd been on the ladder truck at 11. I made driver, so I went to engine 11. The first day I drove, we had 10 calls. And I knew where every one of them was because they were frequent flyers. And then when I got promoted to captain, of course that was a challenge. My second day as a company officer, I had to give somebody an oral reprimand that had been on longer than I had and had done something before I got promoted.
Wow, that was a challenge.
My most heartbreaking moment was hearing of Jackie Beater's death. Jackie and I were very close. I knew him before he got on the fire department here, and I was in shock.
Proudest
My
moments?
proudest moments when I was on the squad, got to deliver a baby. It's a little boy, and it's the mother's birthday, and Sean Cavness and I got a little 5-year-old girl out of a house fire, and I was proud of that, and I was proud every time I got promoted.
Okay. I
I was proud when my guys got promoted. I've got guys that rode the back of the truck for me. They're now chiefs.
had a question.
I did question, had I chosen the right career. I remember, for instance, went on a car fire, and it was a minivan. Opened the van up. I was on nozzle, knocked the fire down. I looked, there's a baby seat in there. It scared me to death. I didn't know if it was occupied or not. And I reached in there and just saw that there was nobody in that seat. And I thought, wow, is this really for me? We coped with death of victims by talking to one another. Somebody off the street would hear firemen talking about this stuff. They think, gosh, those guys are so hard. But you had to make light of this stuff or just eat you up. So we just talk about it. Assigned to a company that 2 of the guys committed suicide within a week of one another. And that was very, very strange. The then Chief Powell sent some mental health folks out to talk with us. And nobody really took advantage of it, but sitting back, we probably should have. I did. I worked with Terry Wallace, and Terry Wallace had been Ms. North Carolina bodybuilder. So she's a big girl. She said she didn't have a problem working with me if I thought I could do the job. And at the time, I was pretty small, about 145 pounds. So I picked her up on my shoulder and spun her around and set her back down, and she didn't have a problem working with me after that. If I could do it all over again, I certainly would, and I would do things differently. I would make sure I got as much education as I could and tried to advance further than I did. During my career, the medical aspect changed dramatically, because when I went through EMT and training. Now, there are people that were just not EMTs on the line, and now just the EMT test is so much more difficult. What you're doing on calls is so much more intricate, and then the administration of drugs. The squad guys did some stuff in the back of an ambulance that we probably shouldn't have done, but now they're doing this stuff all the time. Mm-hmm. I think the roles have been more defined. When I first started, to Company Station, you roll up on a house fire, whoever got nozzle, ladder truck, engine guys, they're going to take care of business. And now it's more defined where the truck company guys have their own certain tasks to do, and they're sticking by that, with the ventilation and, illumination, where it used to be everybody just kind of jumped in there and did stuff. So it's a lot more organized now. A successful firefighter in today's world is somebody who's smart, it's getting their education, is able to maintain their health, and just do the job the best they can. Everybody worked with people who just really didn't care, and now these guys, if somebody shows their willingness and truly wants to help other people, then I think that's a successful firefighter. Well, I've got great support at home. My wife is just wonderful. I could come home after a bad day, and she would listen. When I got promoted to company officer, she had been a supervisor for years. She could help me work through problems, had great suggestions, and just a wonderful ear. So she would listen to me talk about calls and stuff, and I could bounce things off of her, and she just wonderful. I retired because of my health. I had knee pain, knee issues, ended up with a total knee replacement, had some back issues. I would tell a new firefighter to listen to the old guys. There's a wealth of knowledge out there. If you've got a grump at the station, just stay away from them. Study as hard as you can, and just be a sponge. Soak up all the knowledge you can. I would want to be remembered by the way I loved the job, the pride I had in the department, the pride I had in the guys I worked with, and the pride I had in the guys that I had that got promoted. Well, they know the love of the job. And I never did I not want to go to work. I had a year with a driver that I did not care for, and that was a long year, but I still wanted to go to work every day. Well, off the job, love to fish. My fishing buddy is my wife.
Okay.
We spend the month of October at the beach every year, and love it down there. Now, the biggest thing is, I think, just enjoy your time. 30 years went by rather quickly for me, and I miss seeing the guys. I try to attend as many retirement functions as I can, just so I can see the guys, get my fireman fix.
We hope you enjoyed watching these documentaries. It was our goal to share and preserve the memories of our retired Greensboro firefighters. It is our desire that these documentaries will inspire future generations to continue the brotherhood, sisterhood, and camaraderie while always striving for excellence in their careers. While fire apparatus, equipment, and technology have improved, several things will always remain the same. The courage and bravery it takes to mitigate natural and man-made disasters will always be a part of the job. Although our retirees are no longer a physical part of the GFD world, a giant piece of each retiree's memories have been shared with you today. These memories will be in their hearts and minds forever. A special thank you goes out to Captain Harold Haney for his many long hours of recording and editing. Thank you, Harold. A job well done.